What's good, people? It's the Rap Roundtable here. Your boy Jarves, to say the Rap Snob, Diddy the Balance, the homie Mace. We just need y'all to like, share, and subscribe when you tap into the videos. We're trying to reach 5,000 subs and eventually 10K subs. And with your help, we could definitely do that. Especially people who watch the videos and don't sub. You watching, we appreciate it. But the subs help us run it up even more. For our people who are already sub, make sure you hit that bell right next to the subscribe option. Pick all. When you pick all, it allows us to feed you what you need to get from us immediately. If you don't hit all, you'll get it when YouTube decides to give it to you. But if you hit all, you get the streams, you get the community posts, you get our regular uploads, you get everything. Hit all, help us run these numbers up, 5K, 10K, build a Rap Roundtable brand. Tap in with us. Peace.
The Rap Roundtable.
Yes, sir. The Rap Roundtable returns. Shout out to everybody who tapped into the game video that's running up as we speak. Once again, shout out to Punch who interacted with us on Twitter again. You know, that video.
We appreciate you, Punch.
That video is resonating. This one was a little more seasoning on this one. I guess he's although he's saying that we said something we didn't say. That's okay. I know how the internet works. You know what I mean?
Hey,
misinterpret.
Let's talk about it, Punch. Let's talk about it.
Exactly, Punch. Instead of doing that on Twitter, we keep telling you to come on to the Rap Roundtable. We're gonna keep inviting you on until you are on this show. So we could squabble, you know. a little squabble never hurts. You know what I mean?
Let us know what it really is, Punch.
You know what I mean? And of course, if we are out of bounds in anything we said, when we have the conversation, of course we'll apologize or we'll say we were wrong. But
we're not creeps. We're good guys over here. No matter how much they try to throw our names off and all that, we good dudes.
They try to make us the villains, but in all actuality, we're the good guys here.
We're the heroes.
we're the heroes that you need. But
exactly.
Speaking of villains and people who, depending on your point of view, is either the baby face or the heel in this situation. Funkmaster Flex. He started this whole thing about a month, some change ago with Conway the Machine, where he was kind of talking spicy about this album. Reacted to some words that Conway said about essentially Flex and another individual gatekeeping New York rappers, and turned into this whole thing about they're from Buffalo, Griselda's not lit like that, they don't have hits, why did Flex front on them during the freestyle with Benny and Conway went to Hot 97, all the different narratives. We covered it on the Rap Roundtable, and it's been covered elsewhere on other mediums. But now we see Flex has transitioned away from the anti-Conway energy to now getting new music from New York acts, calling them out, using his social media platform as Instagram.
Yes,
and the artists are delivering. And my question to you is what Flex doing right now helping or hurting New York City? Mace, what do you think?
I'm gonna cut straight to the chase. It's helping New York hip hop. I mean, the general interest, the controversy, the new music. Like, let's keep it real. Like, it's. I feel like Flex is a smart guy. Right. You know what I mean? He knows what he's doing at the end of the day. He's been doing this a long time. Now, when it came to the Conway issue, I'm not gonna lie. Jarve said it was promo from the beginning. I don't want to let y'all in behind the curtain, but
y'all the mastermind on low.
Y'all knew what it was.
Mastermind.
So, I was buying in. I was buying into kayfabe personally. You know what I mean? I was thinking it was all real, but it seems like Flex had a plan from the beginning, and it seems like in the last handful of years, the only shine on New York are new drill acts for the most part, what I mean? So Flex shining the light on, I call it the middle generation, the post Jay-Z, Nas, Biggie, Pac generation, and the pre-Drake, Kendrick, Cole generation, that lost generation within New York hip hop, the Fabs, the Lobby Boys, you know what I mean? Yes. The Jewels is, Kiss kind of, as an act, he was part of the golden era, but his solo career was in that middle.
Kids cover all ground, man.
This era is responsible, not to be negative, but they're responsible for the great rap depression that happened in New York because this was their turn. It was their turn. You know what I mean?
They dropped the ball, literally.
Jay-Z was retiring. Nas was around, but yeah, at the same time, Nas had different ventures. He was dropping music, but he didn't want to be the king of New York. So guys like Lloyd Banks, Jewels, Fabulous, to name a few, Jim Jones, who came about. Like Jones did his thing, to be fair, but at the end of the day, a lot of what happened in New York happened on their watch. You got guys like Saigon who didn't really break through how he was supposed to break through. You know what I'm saying? And I know I can name a bunch of other acts whose names escape me right now, but that's a good point you made there, Mace.
Yeah, so it's like the fact that he's shining the light on these guys, you know, guys who may still be in the vibey shit, but still give you lyrical shit. I feel like it's all, you know, a perfect game that he's playing right now. So I think it's helping New York hip hop, and I don't really see any kind of negative thing about it, honestly. So yeah, I'm going Flex helping hip hop. What you feeling like?
Mace is being positive, y'all. I love to see it.
Listen, it happens every now and then. It's Sunday.
Wow. Deanie, talk to me, bro.
Yo, I you know I like to be the voice of contention at the Rap Roundtable, but Mace, he got it, my nigga. Like I really can't argue it. Like I said, man, like new music from Nicki, Fab. Jewel just dropped the joint with Benny.
Math
Hoffa sent something in. Conway got to send something in. Like
the Lock sent that Terminator record.
There you go. To agree with Mace, to agree with Jav, this might have all been a rollout. He really took this Conway layup and turned it into a full stimmy. Now all eyes on Flex again. He's bringing out, and this is all happening for New York rappers too, by the way. These are major acts. These are artists that really, we wanted this music from them for so long. And as you mentioned, they've dropped the ball on numerous occasions. And we got the Lobby Boys album. Fab dropped his joints. You know, like, Jay never really stopped working. He's always been in the mix, but I appreciate the challenge. It's just nice to see a New York challenge. It's just distributed to all the old kind of legends, because everybody who drops something is essentially a legend in their own right.
The fact.
You know, Jewel's a part of Dipset, legendary crew. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Benny's on his way to legendary status with Griselda. It's just great, and it's just great to see New York music back in the forefront. It's great to see a New York DJ, and Flex is New York. We're not gonna shit on Flex. And number two, R.I.P. to Pop Flex. He just lost his pops. You know what I'm saying? I know what it's like to lose a parent. But like as much as you want to trash Flex, Flex is a staple in New York hip. You can't tell the story of New York hip hop without Flex.
Right.
Yeah, the tunnel, even Summer Jam, it ain't what it used to be, but it's still a staple in New York hip hop and a staple in hip hop in general, even though a lot of the acts are not really New York that coming in. But still, it's a big deal, bro. I say it's definitely helping. I say Flex is helping, and I say New York is getting back to where it needs to be. I'm loving the energy.
I'm not mad at that. So Mace divulged that I believed it was a work from day one. And 100%, I believe it was a work. I think it was a work that became a shoot with some of the things that was said for the wrestling terminologies out there for the fans who already know what it is. I guess I'm not gonna be the New York person that's negative, but I'm gonna be a little negative. Okay, I just, it's the messenger. You know what I mean? The way Flex was talking about Conway and Griselda, a part of me feels like somebody made a call, bro. It was like, boss man, rein it back a little bit, huh? Like, rein it in. Yeah, man. You know, this is promo. You know, because again, Conway did get the record, even though it wasn't the record we wanted from him in that scenario. Nah. But at the same time, Flex was really overdoing it. Like, I don't listen to Hot 97. But that day I got off of work. I got my phone here. I got the Hot 97 via Apple Music, and I listened to the stream going over the Manhattan Bridge on the train. I'm like, yo, like Flex is going crazy.
Reckless.
So I get the feeling that the response, not from the public, well, yeah, from the public, but from the constituents, It's like, yo, Flex, you was wilding, bro. These dudes is really putting on. It don't matter if they're from Buffalo, etc. We know what you do, Flex. We know what you do in these situations. You are Funk Master Flex. You're gonna say some crazy shit, and we're gonna just understand. But you overdid it, Flex. You went too far. The constituents got Conway to drop his video saying, you know what, I ain't really mean to say what I said to that extreme. I went too behind the scenes through what I said. The payola talk, all of that, right? I feel like this is a make good from Funkmaster Flex. Honestly, it would Flex is the beacon of New York DJs. Yes, you got a point, Dini. 100% making a valid point. But because of who he is and the way he acts, it's hard for me to feel like this is genuine. And that's really what I'm getting to here. I feel like this is a make good for talking bad. And Flex, ever the opportunist, of course, he sees a chance to now, you know, be the good guy. I've been the heel for 15 years, or at least it's from the time that Power 105 took over as the #1 station. He's been the heel in New York City. He sees an opportunity to make good with hip-hop fans and rappers that they love by way of being the first guy to release their music. But honestly, I kind of wish it was coming from Clue, because I feel Clue don't have the bad will in New York City that Flex has. Clue wouldn't talk bad about these rappers the way that Flex has done over the years. Because when Flex talk bad, Flex don't crack jokes and little hee-hee-ha-ha. Flex tries to end people. He goes for the good. Yo, he was basically calling Conway a bum. You know what I'm saying?
Totally disregarding all the work they put in, man.
Bro, that bar about, aren't you guys multi-platinum arena selling artists? Like, he was going in. So
very condescending.
Very condescending. So to me, this is a make good. I'm happy for New York City because now Flex has kind of checkmated himself into now having to be the good guy. But I hate that it had to start with some negative stuff to where he had to clean it up because he was looking bad, because Griselda was the #1 light for New York City rap by way of Buffalo. It is what it is.
Facts. Also, and no matter which way it turns out for Flex, that's how I know Flex is a genius. No matter which way it turns out, it works out for Flex.
Yeah.
It's either I play these records and give everyone this new light they haven't had in a long time, which makes me the great guy, or it's either they get cooked, you know what I'm saying, which I enjoyed the laughter of it all, or these records pick up, put these people back in the light, and I'm the guy that pretty much gave you these records on my platform. So he can't lose. He's really in a situation he can't lose, bro.
Okay, what you think?
And it's almost like it kind of had to be Flex, because when you think of, if we're still talking radio in New York, Charlemagne's not from New York, Ebro's not from New York, you know what I mean? At this point, Angie is not a music person. You know what I mean? Envy don't got the goodwill in the city like that either. Nah, he doesn't.
He know more for
and
cars.
Clue is not as dynamic. You know, Clue is not as dynamic. Like I feel like within New York circles, we think Clue is more important, but on a national scale, I think it would have to be a guy like Flex, you know what I mean, to bring attention to it. Almost through how much most people hate him, he naturally brought attention to it, you know what I mean? Sometimes it works out being the most hated. Shout out to my guy Floyd, you know what I mean? But it's almost like the perfect storm that it had to be a guy like Flex. Griselda, you know, I agree with y'all to the point that I'm like, I don't think it's fair that Griselda had to kind of get thrown under the bus for this to happen, especially when they're the most positive thing to come out of the city in a decade damn near. So it's like, damn, you had to, it sucks that they had to shoot at them to get the cops to come, you know what I mean? But it's like, shit, man, like, it's working out. You know, Joel's and Benny on the record. That's old and new New York. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You got Fab. Fab is always, and people don't say this about Fab, they almost like act like he, you know, just loves the kids too much. But Fab is one of the more progressive New York MCs that there's been, you know, in this century. You know, he works with new artists. He works with other coasts. He can transform his sound to a more modern sound. Every time Fab pops out, he has the sound of whatever era that is. You know what I mean? So
clear.
It's like,
be clear, because a lot of people like to poo-poo Fab. Fab, one of the nicest to ever come out of New York City. Like, stop this narrative that a lot of y'all are trying to push that he was just rapping for the girls. Like, Fab, one of the nicest to ever come out the city, bro.
The merger of actual skills and bars and the ability to make a record. Bro,
Right.
like it's a very short list of artists that are able to do that, and on that
And
kind
his
of level.
songs for the girls used to go. Like, it wasn't like some candy shop shit. His girl records was some shit you rock in the club with.
Today,
like,
you can hear those records today, and they still hit.
Think about
Superwoman still hit, bro.
Think about what Throw It in the Bag what Drake did to New York, bro. Had us in a headlock the whole summer, bro. Like, come on now.
Listen, you be killing them.
Come on,
you know
now.
what I mean?
Shout out
Like,
Ryan Leslie.
It's a small list. I say whole big.
Don't go on record, Dean. They gonna get you if you go on record with it, man.
To walk that tightrope, bro, is not many.
There's not many New York dudes who could do that.
That's a fact. I mean, and still bar you to death. There's not that many artists in general that can do that. Because the dudes that make the party songs really can't bar you to death.
Fab can bar you, bro.
Fab can bar you.
Like, if you don't believe us, dust off them Clue tapes.
Tap in, man.
Triangle Offense.
98.
You know what I mean?
Y'all love Lupe, right? There's a whole Lupe interview where he talks about how Fabulous was who he was first designing his style around. Lupe Fiasco, Mr. Super Lyrical, you know what I mean? Miracle. Come up with a bunch of shit. I don't want to call him a lyrical miracle.
But he's not that. He's not
that. He's one of the nicest.
Bro. Yeah.
And I've listened to a 20-minute video where he's talked about how when he came up in the late 90s, other niggas was looking at Eminem and Cannabis. He looked at Fab to form his style. You know what I mean?
Nas and
Fabulous sport era.
There you go. So Nas and Fab is Lupe's inspiration. So crazy.
Listen, look at that. Look, oh man, that's some bias for sure. New
York,
but to bring it back, and he loves stack bundles too. He talk about stack bundles all the time.
Rest in peace.
Love stack. R.I.P.
Right, but to bring it back to the main point, yeah, man. Like, at the end of the day, I don't want to say all publicity is good publicity. R. Kelly might tell you that, but it's like they looking at us right now, bro. And not only at first it was almost, and I think if you guys listen to the Fabulous Flex convo that they had, they kind of go in depth to this. But at first it seemed like there was an angry portion to it. It was Flex is calling guys out type of aspect to it. But at this point, Flex is talking about how dudes is sending him records,
challenges,
because they know, right. So I guess, Flex helped New York hip hop, but so did Conway, y'all. Conway's the one.
Yeah, Conway got to get a W for this.
He sacrificed himself, bro.
Yeah.
And now Flex is on the spot and he's delivering. So shout to Conway, man, because he clearly exposed the problem in the politics of this shit.
So you should have sent something like KD in the Flex instead of that freestyle. You should have said something with some knock, because that was a lot of ears that have been on that record. But you gotta get it right next time.
Well, Benny gonna save him.
Of course.
Benny keep the records. So now I guess let me ask you this, because I already know. Based on the videos we've dropped in the past discussing this entire topic with Flex, a common thread as a response to it is that radio doesn't matter anymore. So with that idea floating around, and we seeing what Flex is doing, how important is what Flex is doing if radio is not important now? I see Dini making a face. Talk to me.
Radio still is important. I mean, I don't listen to the radio as much, like pretty much outside's my radio now. But the young heads still tap into what's going on. There's still a stage that has to get set for it to get set somewhere else. And radio still is that stage. And it's coming from a premier DJ, It's very important, bro. As much as I want to knock it, it's the precursor to getting everything else lit, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it hasn't been too many times just blasting something in the car, set the trend to us listening to something all over the world. It got to come from somewhere large, impactful. You take it in and we push it out. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
not to revive OVO Mace, who died earlier this year, but Drake, back when he was a rapper, once said, "People with no money act like money isn't everything." I never heard a radio killer say radio doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Listen, you hear Jay-Z saying radio don't matter. You hear Drake saying radio don't matter. I don't even hear Kanye saying it, and he doesn't think anything but himself matters. So I'm like, the artists that radio doesn't matter to are generally artists that weren't going to be played on radio. So they know their artistic sensibilities don't even think of that type of shit when they're making music. You know what I mean? So I guess it depends on what your true aim is. But if we're talking major superstardom, big shows, you know what I mean? How you think you getting shows in Texas if you're not getting played on you know, that nationwide radio? How you think you're gonna go get money in these other markets if you're not being played on the radio? You know what I mean? So it's like, no, radio isn't the end all be all as it is when we all started listening. We're not running to the radio to record on our tapes. You know what I mean? We're not doing that shit anymore. Did I just age myself? Y'all, my bad. So we're not doing that anymore. So no, radio's not the end all be all. We still got streaming. We got YouTube. So it's, yeah, we got a bunch of shit, but radio is still that, you know what I mean? It's that original, it's that something about radio. When you on radio and you getting pushed, that is still what solidifies you all around the game. You know what I mean? That's how I feel personally.
I'll take it on a personal note. I remember when we did the Chills interview, I think early 2021.
Out the Chills.
You know what I mean? Shout out to Chills. We left the studio, and I had to drop him to, I think, around the corner somewhere from the spot. But wherever he was going was near the studio. And in the process of me dropping him off, his phone starts going crazy. People hitting him like, yo, DJ Self is playing a song on the radio. This is an artist. And he is going crazy. He's hyped because he's hearing his music on the radio via one of the number 2 DJ in New York City at the moment, DJ Self. So
fire record too.
The argument to say radio doesn't matter, like I hear it, and to a certain degree, I would agree. Because when people say that, they're saying it not as a general term, but in comparison to what radio used to be. And I think that needs to be explained here. But to me right now, it's the narrative that should matter. It's the look. Funkmaster Flex is a very clickable item. Regardless of what his 9 to 5 is, he's very clickable. So Flex says your record is about to go, even if it becomes internet fodder. He says he gets it Thursday and the new music drops Friday. It becomes internet property the minute midnight on Friday hits. But if Flex gets it first and he's saying this is a record you need to pay attention to, it's going to be on every hip hop website. Because again, when you look, if you Google Flex, Hip Hop DX, Hip Hop Wired, Rap Radar, whatever you name, Complex, Flex's name is there saying he's doing this for said artist. If Mace decides now that he's got a single coming out and Flex says this is the next record to go, it's going to be on everybody's website. It's going to be on if you follow Flex and you open your Instagram, it's going to be one of the first 5 posts you see on your Instagram. Funkmaster Flex and his algorithm, it's moving the culture. Whether you like him or not, he's moving the culture, and he's making radio matter for hip hop single-handedly at the moment.
Right.
Because he's outside though. He's at all the spots playing music. You know what I'm saying? He's everywhere, bro.
Outside matters. Again, we always say this. A lot of y'all like to pretend like it don't matter. Outside and impact is just as important as every lyric you ever want to memorize. They have to.
Real talk. It's like we all love Squid Games and we love Black Mirror and we love, these shits that come on streaming services. But there's nothing like a hit movie. You know what I mean? It's nothing like a movie. You feel what I'm saying? That is the top of the line, commercial, So I'm sure, these record labels still want their artists to get played on the radio. They're not saying, I can't wait till we get on this Rap Caviar playlist and that's it.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? Matters. So it matters at the end of the day. It does.
Because the thing is now, if you're on the radio and you on the playlist, it doesn't look like you just bought your spot. Even if you did buy your spin on the radio, but it's about canvassing everywhere.
Radio used to be the league, man.
And most times these radio DJs if you go to any of these big venue parties, the radio DJs be the ones spinning your record at these parties.
There you go.
Facts.
You're not making that
That's
up.
another thing.
You're not making that up at all. But I got a question for you guys, fellas. I got a question. And,
going on, job.
And chat, feel free to chime in. You know what I mean? I was watching Math. Shout out to Math. Math has been putting out some of the best podcast content in the last month and a half or so. Drink Champs getting the look on the nationwide as far as the number 1 hip hop podcast at the moment. But right now, Matt Hopper is making a push to move Notorious away. And one of the main reasons why he's doing this is because when Maps guests come, that was a tough thing for me to say. They get a chance to really sit down and get in depth with their stories. We know Drink Champs is more of a party atmosphere. You having your drinks, you taking your shots, you having a good time, you getting your flowers. When you go to Mav's platform, you're gonna sit down, you're gonna be in the barbershop talk 101, have a couple of drinks, and you're gonna hear the stories. Amongst these stories, we have Clark Kent, the visionary, one of the most important people in hip hop history. That I don't think I've heard that sentence attached to his name enough in my lifetime.
Legend.
One of the most important people in hip hop history. I gotta repeat it. He says, when the question is posed, who's the best MC, Biggie, Jay-Z, or Nas? Clark Kent picked Jay-Z. So now we're gonna have the Bagger Joneses of the world who are gonna get upset. They're gonna go find that video and call Clark Kent a dick rider and say he won't get invited to the Rock Nation lunch and all this and that. But is Bagger Jones and the Bagger Joneses of the world, are they gonna tell Clark Kent, who was literally there, that he doesn't know what he's talking about and he's only saying that because it's Jay-Z's friend? We'll have to wait and see. But for the rap roundtable of it all, I need to ask Mace, based on this interview that you saw, and what Clark Kent is saying, Jay's the best MC because he could do things with a half a bar that no other rapper can do. There's people on the internet who poo-poo double entendres, and he's saying all of that shit matters when it comes to lyricism. What do you have to say to everything that I just said, Mace?
Oh man, that's a loaded question.
It's a loaded
question, man. So, to buy myself time and stall before I really think of my answer, let me just say this. Clark Kent is one of the best interviews in hip hop for years running. You know what I mean? Math definitely brought out a very good interview in him, but just like you say, Clark Kent, man, essential to the sneaker culture, production, just running labels, discovering artists. We gonna give Clark Kent flowers. Now, one thing that I have to fight back against.
Here we go.
Clark Kent always loves to how can I say it? To make this rappers are separate than MCs thing, you know, and I feel like that was always his way of giving Biggie and Jay-Z both props at the same time.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it's like, is Jay-Z the best MC out of Biggie, Jay-Z, and Nas? No, I think Biggie's the best MC. You know what I mean? He's the best. That was a very good point he made. Jay-Z can do things that Biggie and Nas just can't do. You know what I mean? And I feel like he's a little biased in this. He's seen Jay from the very, very, very beginning. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's hard for you to see, you know, Kobe as a high schooler and feel like LeBron is better than him. You know what I mean? Like, regardless. So
you could just at me, Mace. You don't got to talk about me like I'm not right here. You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, I respect Clark's opinion on the matter, but I disagree.
Respectfully, you disagree. Dini, talk to me, bro.
All right. So I'm gonna say, in this situation, if I was Clark Kent, I would totally agree that Jay-Z is the greatest. As we stated, there's things he can do that Big and Nas can't do. There's not too much they can do that he can't do. You get what I'm saying? And you gotta remember, like, the closest person I would put with him would be Biggie. But like, you gotta remember, like, when you add up all the years we got of Biggie, you know, it's really a fraction of what we got of Hov. You know,
right.
Like Hov's not
barely a fraction, honestly.
You know what I'm saying? It's not only being the best, it's being the best at the best time and for a long ass time. You know,
right.
like there was there a time where Jay was in the game where Jay kind of wasn't already on his way to be the man? You get what I'm saying?
You could say his first two albums, he was a role player before he became a superstar.
Understood. And what we got from those is 2 classics. So I could live with that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
Volume 1 a classic, then?
I'll take it as a classic, bro. I love that album. It's not Jay's best work, but
Volume 1. I don't know if it's a classic. It's way better than we thought it was. Much like how It Was Written got fronted on, I think Volume 1 got fronted on in the same
I'm like the only
vein.
nigga that likes Sunshine. So
you know
like,
what I'm saying? There you go. You know what I'm saying?
You are, bro. You are.
So there you go.
Volume 1 is a lot better than people give it credit for. I remember we talked about it on the roundtable, not to cut you off, Dini. If he would have, I felt like if he would have dropped Volume 1 and then Reasonable, both of those albums hit totally differently in the pantheon of history.
True.
Reasonable was too heavy, and then he tried to get too light on Volume 1. I felt like you should have just swapped the two. But go ahead, bro.
But yeah, like it's like Jay's just been the top dog. I mean, like I don't want to like bloviate and like, you know, because you know niggas be hating on Hov and shit, but like Hov was the cool nigga. You get what I'm saying? You know, like in high school there was the cool nigga. Mm-hmm. Not you had cool niggas, but then there was the cool nigga. You know what I'm saying? Hov was the cool nigga. So you gotta respect the role of the cool nigga to respect the cool nigga. You get what I'm saying? If you're not a cool nigga, you're not gonna really respect the cool nigga because you want to be the cool nigga. But if you was a cool nigga, you respected the coolest nigga. Not to bramble on, but I gotta go with Hov. Though I say Nas is hip hop's greatest lyricist, no one's impact, no one's indelible ink, no one's fingers have just touched the ground, man.
Hold on, Dini. He said out of the 3, the best MC was Jay-Z. You're agreeing with Clark Kent?
No, I'm saying to me, that's what I say. If I'm Clark Kent, there's no way I would dispute that.
Okay, but but Dini, the person,
that's not what you think, Dini.
Okay.
Just
we gotta be clear about this,
crazy,
because the pitchforks is gonna come out.
And we ready for all of them. That's what we do here. But I'm going with. I see why. I can completely see why he picked Jay.
Okay.
The whole package is Hov. The Hov is really like the joy of the shit.
And I think, you know what I'm saying. Like, you made a good point about the cool person, right? And I think that's a lot of why people kind of over the years have pushed back against Jay. Like, there's a lot of guys, a lot of grown men in their 40s and 50s who are not the cool guy. They were nowhere near being the cool guy.
All types of shit.
Right, and it becomes a situation of, this guy reminds me of what I never was, and then all of these people loving on him on the internet and telling us how great he is, and then it puts a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths. It's the reality of the situation. Some people are really objective with their Jay-Z critiques, but there is that segment of hip-hop who are these guys that had no swag, no gear, no nothing, and they hate a guy like Jay-Z, and they hate people who like a guy like Jay-Z. It's the reality of the situation. But to Clark Kent, this is crazy to me. You know what I mean? Mace made a good point when he talked about, if you watch Kobe play from high school, or in my case, I'll say rookie year, and I seen every evolution of his game all the way through 60 out the door. To this day, I have a hard time putting LeBron above Kobe, because to me, like, there's nothing LeBron can do that Kobe can't do and do it at a higher level. That's my opinion. I'm not asking you to agree. I need to emphasize that. But when I watch their careers, I'm like, yeah, he got that. Cole got that. Clark Kent was there. He was in the room. Jay was his man first, right? That's his guy. He was telling Big in the story, yo, my man is iller than you. Da, 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 da. So with that being said, I hate to do this because I hate when they do it to us on the podcast, but there's a certain level of bias involved in picking your man. Of course, Clark Kent is going to pick Jay-Z. Right. What are we talking about? You shouldn't even be bothered by that. But my issue would be, why are people acting like the things that Jay is really good at, like the double and triple and quadruple entendre, something to scoff at, while a story rhyme is way better? Why does all of the feats that Jay-Z does considered mid-tier, but everybody else's skill set is inflated? Like Clark Kent made a good point. If I could give you that level of a double entendre in a half a bar, how much rappers can do that? Because I didn't, you know what? Because I fell victim to scoffing at the entendres. So he sat down and he broke it down. I'm like, shit, he's right. That was a half a bar. He did that. That was kind of fire. That was a fire bar. You know what I mean? I just feel like this energy that we have on the internet overall about this tribalism with Nas and Jay-Z and Big and Tupac.
Take a side.
I cut it out. Like who you want to like.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you don't see me calling Nas fans dick riders. I don't care if you like Nas. If I make fun of a Nas fan, it's because it's fun to do. It's not because I hate Nas.
Nas fans are emotional.
Jay-Z fans don't have to be dick riders. They love what Hov brings to the table. Mace loves Pac. I don't judge him for liking Pac. I troll him. But at the end of the day, that's his man. Same with Wayne. Like this tribalism in rap, bro, is exhausting, bro. Because a lot of times the takes be real garbage attached to the tribalism. So it's like, bro, like who you want to like. You know what I mean?
Like who you want to like. That's a word right there, y'all. Like who you want to like, y'all. And I'm going to like who I want to like.
It's crazy that you got to tell 50-year-old grown men to like who they want to like. Like, that's wild to me, bro.
And it's almost like a sports almost, you know what I mean? Like Celtic and Lakers fans, but with each individual rapper. And it's like, come on, because at the end of the day, folks, all this shit is objective.
That's it.
There's no scoreboard at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So you can scream all day about how you right. I'm gonna scream all day about how I'm right because I usually am. But it's like, you know, we mad at Clark Kent picking Jay-Z when Jay-Z is worthy of being picked. He didn't go up there and say Ludacris is better than picking Nas. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's fucking Jay-Z.
Like if Jungle go up there and he pick Hov, we would be up in arms. He better pick Nas. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We wouldn't be
That's
shocked.
The thing.
That's just thing. Like if they do it for you, every time you, like, for instance, the way Wayne does it for you, you just don't do it for me. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I crack my little jokes, but I give Wayne his respect for his ability to have done that to you. You get what I'm saying? For you to vouch for him the way you do.
Impact.
That's something to be discussed. That's why even though I dog him out, I don't dog him, I still give him his props. Pause. That's why even though I trash him, I still give him his props, because it takes a lot to have that many people fuck with your music, bro.
Right.
And if nothing else, that's important.
All right, fellas. I think we're gonna bring this topic to a close because again, y'all are at work and I'm not. So, real quick, episode 52 is out right now. The game reaction, Dramatic, is out right now. The power rankings live. So make sure y'all pull up. The power rankings live is up next on our docket. So make sure you tap in. Sincere the Rap Snob. We missed you. Was good.
Shout out to my guy.
Sincere.
You know what I mean? Dini, take us home.
Yo, my man Job, oranged out with the good match. You know the vibe. Do-rag Macito with the red joint. I am
my guy.
Dini, the balance of the force with the Mr. Roger sweater. You know we at work, slow breezy. We are the Rap Round Table. We out of here.
Sir.
Heroes you need.
You dig?